Tourism and Visitation update, Ms. O'Donnell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Dr. Casey. Glad to be with you. I have my colleague joining me here, Danielle Fitzhugh, who's our Vice President of Community Relations. We are going to keep it moving in the interest of time and are glad to be back with our annual positive update on regional tourism. As you all know, we take a collaborative approach that is 4 decades old in our region to tourism. We know that visitors do not understand geographic boundaries, so they might fly into the airport, play at River City, eat dinner in the city of Richmond, and go to King's Dominion and go home and they said they went to Richmond. So it makes great sense for us to combine our efforts when it comes to marketing, and it makes great economic sense as well. The good news is we continue to break records in tourism, up 2% in total trips year over year, and we're seeing an increase in our region in overnight trips, which is what we like, more people staying longer. You can see the trend of visitor spending and visitation pre-COVID to now. We're well past the visitor spending, creeping back up on the number of visitors, and we can see positive trends for Chesterfield with 601 million in visitor spending, up 3%. And this is data from Tourism Economics provided by Virginia Tourism Corporation for all the localities in the state. Additionally, you can see just Chesterfield's growth over the last 5 years. Of course, we had the dip in COVID, and we all know that we came back a lot faster than anticipated. We actually just also got data in about Richmond Region tourism impact through our advertising. So for last fiscal year, visitors that saw our ads spent $323 million in our community, excluding in hotels. So we know that folks are coming and spending a lot of money here, which is what we want. We also, of course, measure when people stay in hotels. That's how we know it's working. And we continue to see record hotel sales with lodging revenue reaching just under $40 million last fiscal year. As always, we do really well because we have great variety in our region, and we put the whole region together. We track very well in our primary pillars, number one always being friends and family, which is why it's so important to have our community engaged in what there is to see and do. Sports, meetings, and conventions continue to thrive in our region, and then, of course, leisure travel and business travel based on the corporate citizens we have in our region. When we look at our demographics, always and forever, Northern Virginia is our primary feeder market. Again, we're seeing an increase in length of stay post-COVID, moving away from day trips to overnight trips, and we continue to be evenly paced throughout the year, meaning we don't have a high season or a low season when it comes to tourism. I know you all are very familiar with the success of sports tourism. So when it comes to the meetings, conventions, and events that Richmond Region Tourism is involved in, sports represents 71% of the market. And you all have our latest economic impact brochure in your packet if this is hard to read, but we will leave it with you so you can look through it at your leisure. But at a glance, wanted to pull some data specific to Chesterfield. And I might have to turn around because I can't quite see that far. But for last fiscal year for Chesterfield, we're looking at a total of 41 events booked by Richmond Region Tourism using incentives of over, do you have it here? Oh, it's also very small. $186,000 in Richmond Region Tourism incentives to retain and attract the business. And these are events that took place last fiscal year, and just under 30 for the TID. And then to date so far through this fiscal year, we have seen more economic impact with $234,000 in incentives and $63,000 through the TID. So it's a good trend. And as you all know, in order to win the business, we have to incentivize the business, and that is a large portion of Richmond Region Tourism budget. And particularly in the sports markets, Chesterfield receives the lion's share of our incentives to win those pieces of business. I'm not going to go through all of these because you're familiar with what's been taking place, but I'll leave these here with your packet so you can take a look at some of the highlights of what took place last calendar year, as well as meetings and conventions and future wins. We're really excited about the Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association for 26 and 27. This is being incentivized through the TID for under $30,000 each, just under $30,000 each year. We've got great partnership with the team here because of the TID, and we'll talk more about that later. We're able to bring more people with us when we go out to meet with organizers. So you can see a picture here of the team on the road, and you can read details on the screen, we're able to bring more hotel partners from Chesterfield as well as your teammates to meet with event organizers and convince them to choose our region. So you can see year to date what the TID has been able to approve to bring business directly to Chesterfield. And of course, the beautiful thing about our region is that visitors, when they come for one reason, don't stay in just one locality. They're moving around and spending their money throughout. I hope later you'll go back and read these great quotes from our partners. We have some nice sentiment here from Adam Kennedy from some RVA about our partnership with him. Quickly updating, we always do the tourism master plan. Hard to believe we're halfway through it since it's 2025. The number one priority from the plan has been advocacy for a headquarter hotel downtown as part of the city center renovation. You all are aware that you are part of the Convention Center Authority, and we know that for that building to ever perform the way it was designed to, we need that hotel. So we're constantly working with the new administration to make that happen. An inspiration campaign was also a priority to raise the profile of our region for visitors and site selectors. We worked with GRP and the Chamber on this. This was a $2.8 million advertising campaign using ASMR technology, and you all have seen it, and we can send it to you again if you don't remember. But if you're not familiar with ASMR, ask your kid or your grandkid. It's the sound-based trend where you tell the story through sound, and Henricus is featured prominently in this advertisement, which again, so far is up to $2.8 million because we've extended it past the ARPA funds using the TID and Richmond Region Tourism's budget. You can see some of the results here. The most important part really is the brand lift survey. So that means after people have seen the ad, 23% or have an increased perception of our region, and 34% are very likely to consider us for visitation. These are above average percentages, which means we know that this is working. One of the reasons that that you all saw me so often to pass the TID was really to level set our budget. You can see how we stack up against our competitors that were our comp set in the tourism master plan. So the tourism improvement district really helps us be on a more level playing field with the people that we compete with on a regular basis. There's an annual report in your packet, and we're working on the mid-year report now, so you'll be getting that via email soon. But the key takeaways really with the TID is that we can afford to advertise year-round now, which we could not previously do. And we're also elevating our presence again at trade shows with our partners. A couple highlights when it comes to business development. Because of the TID, we were able to go to new trade shows, expand our presence, have new partnerships, new familiarization tour, more sales missions. And you can see again from the first year, the first results, and we know this will continue to build over time as we progress. When we think about marketing, these are the major themes that we're promoting. And of course, all of our marketing includes all of our region. Oops, too far. One of the things we really rely on is media relations, because we know even with more advertising dollars, we need the PR to help convince travelers. These are some of the highlights from the last year in media coverage. There are 18 articles featuring Chesterfield specifically. That is an advertising equivalency of over $10 million with over 1 billion unique visitors to those outlets. Here, again, you can look at these later, but our placements by Richmond Region Tourism in which Chesterfield sites were mentioned. We also hosted a familiarization tour with writers and influencers, and came to 5 writers, and we came to Chesterfield on that visit as well. Looking forward to seeing the outcomes of that, and they represented over 200,000 followers just on their social channels. We feature you all on our social media and blogs, 30 mentions on social so far in this fiscal year, and then of course we had blog posts and outcomes of interactions, etc. Here's 2 examples. Love this one of Chesterfield Berry Farm getting 10,000 views. This is a post that we did. So you can see here the content that we're putting out is getting engagement and interaction and furthering your reach. And hopefully you're following all of our channels and seeing this yourself. We also hosted an influencer visit to Chesterfield by the name of Craig Silva with, again, 182 followers on Instagram. You can see here when he was at the Chesterfield County Museum and the jail. And so far, his post got over almost 30,000 likes, which is huge engagement for that. With visitor experience, that's where we work with groups that are booking motor coach travel and have our mobile visitor center coming out into the region as well. And we have a quote here from Henricus about how we have worked so closely with them over the years to book school groups to come to Henricus. And with that, I'll turn it over to Danielle to talk about workforce development.
Thank you. With workforce development, we work with CTE and making sure that our next generation thinks about hospitality as a career path. In our region, we support over 29,000 jobs with the annual wages of $1.3 billion, and that comes out to be about 82,000 median income in a tourism hospitality job. That's a real career that our young people can go into. We also work with Bryan and Stratton as one of our IM Tourism partners. Our IM Tourism program is funded privately through contributions and donations and grants, but we're able to educate the community residents on tourism in our backyard, the economic impact of tourism, thinking about careers in tourism so they can celebrate everything there is to do in Chesterfield County and the Richmond region. We also were able to host 2 Chesterfield staff-driven IM tourism classes, hosting them in the emergency training center space this year, and educating them on everything to do in their backyard. And so when friends and family come to visit, they can take them out in the community and do things. And so when you go back and look at your packet, you'll see a quote here from our relationship and partnership with Beth Murray over at Bryan and Stratton. Again, our RVA Sports Awards, which I will say is coming up on February 8th, which highlights Chesterfield sports impact as well, funded through our foundation and grants program with our, it's our version of the ESPYs. We're highlighting sports right here in our Richmond region, and it is a live show, as you all know, on CBS, and it was their second highest rated show during the month, so much that they showed it 2 more times through the month in recording. So we're really, really proud of where that is going, where that program is going. This year we have Jackie Joyner-Kersey. That program raises money for our sports grant program, and as you can see here, we had 5 Chesterfield sports organizations receive grant funding through that program for us, including Swim RVA, Chesterfield Baseball Club, and others. And so we're really excited about those few programs under our foundation.
So just to close, want to reiterate that it's our mission to use tourism as a force for good in our community. Every day our team comes to work because they believe in tourism as both an economic driver, but something that impacts quality of life for our entire region, and we're honored and proud to represent Chesterfield to the world on your behalf. So with that, would love to answer any questions you may have.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments?
Just very quickly, I'm looking forward to joining the board this afternoon, if all goes well. Thank you for all the work that you guys are doing. I'm looking forward to be parting in the team.
Thank you.
It's, again, a lovely collaborative effort regionally, and I love how hard you guys try to include everybody and hit on all of the places that need to be seen when you're in the RVA region. So yeah, I see how that happens sometimes. So thank you so much for representing us in your portion.
Thank you for everything you do. I think it's important for you all to come before us and have an opportunity to speak to the community and let them know about the collaborative efforts that take place regionally. Sometimes people think that Chesterfield doesn't play well with others. We absolutely do. And I think that one of the key things that really hurts all of our local jurisdictions is actually getting the message out about what's actually going on. Because there are so many good things that are happening, not just in Chesterfield County, but everywhere else. We're going to brag about Chesterfield for today. But getting the message to the community, because a lot of people don't do social media. A lot of the older people don't do social media. People with my hair color, or lack thereof, right? So it's not something that they do. And so a lot of the younger folks do. So thank you for coming today, because hopefully some people are watching this at home, and some people may have trouble sleeping later. We'll watch it again. But this is really good information, so thank you.
Our pleasure.
Just want to thank you as well. for being here today. Thank you for your presentation, and we look forward to great things happening in the region going forward.
Thank you.